Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today I want to talk about biphobia. Obviously, I thought about Pride Month, and obviously Happy Pride Month to everyone. But I do feel like I wouldn't say there wasn't any biphobia before, but obviously, I feel like I guess some people figure out that because obviously LGBT rights have been under attack. For some reason, people have been getting more biphobic, and it's very seen like with celebrities and specifically obviously by men. I'm just gonna be talking like women and men in this case gets a lot of hate for from gay sides and straight women, but I do want to sort of focus specifically like on. I understand that it's a celebrity, but still, like for instance, Jojo Siwa is rumored to be with Chris Hughes, and there's a lot of negative sentiment about that. I do have to say that obviously Jojo Siwa has a lot of her own controversy. I've seen people sort of not like the fact that she's thinking about her gender identity. I think she said that she's trying to understand if she's gender fluid last time I checked. So I'm really sorry if I'm not really in the Jojo Siwa fandom. So I'm sorry if I could have missed something specifically. And right now, obviously, she's been seen with Chris Hughes from Celebrity Big Brother, and obviously it seems that they're an item, and some people think like, oh, is this a speculation based on nothing? Are they just trolling? Because obviously Jojo Siwa has a sort of scandalous past where she's like cheated on partners and people start discussing, and in general she knows that any news that will sort of put her in the spotlight is good. But that is a very sort of obvious sentiment for anyone who is in the spotlight. And obviously, her music didn't get that much traction from what I understood. So, obviously, now everyone's sort of discussing this, and people are saying, how could she be dating a man or be interested in a man right when it's Pride Month? And I do have to say that obviously certain things are being lost sort of in context through history. So, for instance, like obviously biphobia was there when I was growing up, but I do remember sort of talking like to people who helped me come to terms with myself, and it was always like sexuality is fluid, identity can be fluid, and I feel like there was obviously different problems, but I still feel like the idea was that you go for people rather than going for specifically a set idea, and you should be following that idea throughout the whole thing. And obviously, biphobia in the lesbian community is nothing new, but I do have to say that someone being bi is obviously not a crime, and there's nothing wrong with it. And we have a horrendous amount of biphobia, obviously, because some people sort of see it either as a fetish or something hot. There are a lot of fetishists, and I feel like, yes, like Jojo Siwa has always been a lesbian icon, and that's great, but she can also be a bi icon. And obviously, some people do get sort of upset, like if you look up to someone and then they think like, oh, if she's not a lesbian, then like I related, identified with her, and then she comes out as bi, then people start guessing like, is there something wrong with me then? Wrong, you know? Or like, what was wrong, or like, where's the representation? And then the reality is, when someone who we look up to or who we think about, a celebrity sort of does something we don't approve of, sometimes we start thinking, am I wrong for assessing, or is there something wrong with me for sort of identifying, and etc. And obviously, I want to say that in this age of all of these MAGA weirdos, all this conspiracy theories, racists, obviously war, obviously the genocide in Palestine, like there are so many things to be upset over. So being upset over someone being bisexual specifically, or like just dating a guy after dating a lot of women, isn't something that we should be pissed off about. And I do understand that I'm kind of contradicting myself by doing this video, but the fact is that there are celebrities which date women or date men, and then date like a woman after only dating men, and in general people sort of label people, or they want people to stick within the label that society, or rather fans, gave them, and they get angry because, like, for instance, there's Elvira, and people say she's a bisexual icon, but at the same time she says that she more feels like a straight woman who is in a relationship, who's in love with a woman, and there's nothing wrong with that. And like I, for instance, like I mostly have like 99.9% of my attraction was like always men, and I've had like some obviously attraction on binary people or like serious sort of stuff. And I was thinking about like sort of I've had probably like crushes on like 2 girls in my life, and these things still happen, and at the same time no one is supposed to tell you these things. And obviously we all can sit down and think of like our sexuality, and like because we push everyone to sort of obey these boxes, we push everyone to put themselves in a box and to obey the box afterwards. So then we're sort of stuck in this idea that if we do something outside of the box, we need to reassess. And in reality, the box is just there for a guidance, and there's nothing beyond that. And people just take it too seriously. That's the problem, obviously. And I do understand that we're in difficult times, obviously. Sometimes going online and writing a dumb discussion to fight some anal people on Reddit is a way to blow steam, but it shouldn't be done through biphobia. People shouldn't be angry at people for exploring their sexuality, for connecting with more people. And sure, if it's for clout or if it's for clicks, for internet points, then it should be like, oh, I'm tired of like this fake relationship. Like, what is this Kim K wedding all over again, But the thing is, it shouldn't be done with hate. Like, do you want to roast someone? Sure. Like, say, I don't know, like, I don't like her boyfriend because, I don't know, he doesn't appeal to me, and I think, like, if it was me, I would have gone for X person. I don't know, like, just say some weird comments that make sense to you, but don't go down a hateful route, because if you're doing the same biphobia that people who are homophobic and biphobic and transphobic are doing, you're still doing the same hate. So just being a part of the LGBT community doesn't make you immune or doesn't allow you to hate other people in the same community. But people tend to forget that, so obviously let's stop being biphobic is my point. And obviously with celebrities, they have the facts that people will judge them, people will talk about them, and they can use it to their advantage. They can use it for clouds, they can use it to promote an album, they can do it for whatever reason, and whatever. But the thing we shouldn't be doing is promoting hate and putting sort of labels. So I do understand that I'm kind of saying that this is biphobic, but and obviously, like, what if Jojo identifies as queer or identifies as pan or label us now? Or maybe she'll still feel like she's a lesbian with specifically just will date this guy once, or maybe she'll end up with that guy. I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's a lot of people who understand that their love transcends labels, and that's absolutely fine, obviously. So yeah, so with this Pride Month, obviously stay safe, stay sane. I was thinking if I should cover sort of like the LA riots, but I do feel like I'm not American. I don't understand completely the context. So how to put this? Me analyzing something LGBT and closer, I guess, to a reality, because, you know, like, I'm being on LGBT circles or whatever you want to call it. So to me, it's easier to talk about these things that I understand better. And obviously, I hope the protesters, I hope everyone who understands what's happening in LA is staying safe. I never understood people's hatred towards immigrants, being an immigrant myself, and specifically because I was always hated at, like, my birth country. I never had acceptance from any sort of part of my heritage as well. So I don't think people understand that someone being born elsewhere, moving elsewhere, deserves the same rights, and that really pisses me off. And no human is illegal for their immigration status, really. I factually don't understand why we need visas, why we have borders, and I don't understand why this is a very left idea, because it feels humane to me. And yeah, and obviously the thing in Palestine has also been very, very traumatic. I actually don't know how to support anything, and I do want to say that obviously it's important to keep yourself informed, to watch news that makes sense, and watch sort of the content made by people who understand. So again, like, I can do LGBT content, I can do things like about Ukraine, the war in Ukraine, like Russia dynamics and stuff. And this is what this channel covers, rather than situations that I will find hard to cover because I do not have the insights, and I do not want to put certain ideas on things that I might not be able to explain in the depth that I'd like to. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Sorry for the ramble at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave a like. If you have a biphobic friend, or, you know, you just want to rile up some feathers, feel free to send this to your Discord group chat or whatever and start a fight. Feel free to leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, obviously, please subscribe. And thank you very much for watching. Please stay safe and happy Friday.